Today, I want to discuss something that I believe could eventually be remembered as one of the most important signals during this entire cryptocurrency cycle. While many investors are focused only on falling prices, fear, and negative sentiment, there is another story developing behind the scenes that deserves attention. We are witnessing several well-known figures from the crypto industry becoming frustrated, stepping back, or openly admitting that the vision they spent years promoting may not have played out the way they expected. In my opinion, this is not just another headline. It could actually be a powerful indication that the market is approaching a major turning point. Hey guys, welcome back to Whiteboard Crypto Update. In today's video, we will talk about XRP. So be sure to stay focused, as you surely don't want to miss out on this. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications by hitting the bell so you never miss any of our uploads. This video is for educational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions. For years, I have repeated the idea that a huge percentage of people involved in cryptocurrency never truly understood the long-term purpose of this technology. Many participants became obsessed with speculation, hype, trends, and short-term narratives while ignoring the practical use cases that could eventually drive real adoption. What we are seeing today may be the clearest evidence yet of that disconnect. One example comes from Ryan Selkis, who recently made comments suggesting that he feels as though he spent an entire decade pursuing an experiment that ultimately did not deliver what he expected. He expressed disappointment with the direction of the industry and indicated that he is moving away from it. For anyone unfamiliar with his history, he has long been one of the outspoken critics of XRP and Ripple. Over the years, he repeatedly argued that XRP lacked meaningful utility and claimed that other areas of the cryptocurrency ecosystem represented the future, while XRP did not. When I hear comments like that, I always come back to the same question. How could someone spend years in this industry and fail to recognize one of the most straightforward use cases in all of crypto? If a person cannot understand the role of instant, low-cost global value transfer and the infrastructure being built around it, what exactly do they understand about the future of blockchain technology? Ryan Selkis is not the only example. Charles Hoskinson has also made numerous statements throughout the years questioning XRP and criticizing Ripple's approach. He frequently promoted the idea that other blockchain ecosystems represented the future, while dismissing Ripple's strategy. Recently, he announced that he would be stepping away for a period of time as well. When you look at these developments collectively, a pattern begins to emerge. Many of the individuals who championed a vision centered around replacing banks, rejecting institutions, ignoring regulations, and tearing down the existing financial system appear increasingly frustrated. Meanwhile, the companies that chose a completely different strategy continue to move forward. Ripple has spent years focusing on compliance, regulation, partnerships, infrastructure, and engagement with financial institutions. While much of the crypto industry was celebrating meme coin speculation, NFT crazes, and anti-establishment narratives, Ripple was pursuing licenses, building enterprise products, expanding payment networks, and working directly with institutions that already move money around the world. For a long time, that approach was not popular. In fact, it was often criticized. Many people argued that Ripple was taking the difficult path while other projects were attracting attention much faster. Yet today, that difficult path appears increasingly relevant. The reality is that financial infrastructure was always going to require cooperation with regulators, governments, and established institutions. The idea that the entire global banking system would simply disappear and be replaced overnight was never realistic. Ripple seemed to recognize that reality years before many others did. That is why I believe the current situation represents significant validation for Ripple's overall strategy. When some of the loudest critics begin questioning their own vision while Ripple continues expanding its business operations, it becomes harder to dismiss what Ripple has been building all these years. Think about the core purpose that originally inspired cryptocurrency: the ability to move value efficiently, settle transactions quickly, reduce friction, and improve financial systems. XRP directly addresses those objectives. Yet many influential voices spent years attacking that use case while promoting narratives that ultimately struggled to gain real-world adoption. What we are seeing now may simply be the result of those differing philosophies reaching their natural conclusion. Some projects were designed around assumptions that never materialized. Others were designed around solving practical problems that still exist today. This is why I view the frustration and resignation coming from certain industry figures as a meaningful signal. When people publicly acknowledge that years of effort may not have produced the results they expected, it suggests they may have been pursuing the wrong vision from the beginning. It does not automatically mean XRP succeeds tomorrow, but it does strengthen the argument that Ripple's strategy was fundamentally different and potentially more sustainable. At the same time, I think investors should recognize that markets often struggle to separate short-term noise from long-term value. During periods of uncertainty, negative headlines tend to affect everything equally. If a major crypto personality steps away, many investors immediately assume it is bearish for the entire sector, but that assumption is not always correct. History provides plenty of examples. During the dot-com crash, many failed internet companies collapsed, yet that did not prevent successful companies from eventually becoming dominant global businesses. The market initially treated everything as the same, but over time it learned to distinguish winners from losers. I believe cryptocurrency is going through a similar process. The market is still learning how to separate projects with lasting utility from projects built primarily around speculation. That differentiation may take time, but eventually it happens. Beyond sentiment, there are also technical indicators that suggest the market could be approaching historically significant levels. One metric that analysts frequently monitor compares the number of coins sitting at a loss versus those sitting at a profit. Historically, major cryptocurrency bottoms have occurred when these lines converge in a specific way. According to recent data, that condition has once again appeared. What makes this especially noteworthy is how rarely it happens. Similar readings were seen during some of the most dramatic downturns in crypto history, including the aftermath of the 2018 collapse, the pandemic crash, and the periods surrounding the Terra Luna and FTX disasters. Each of those moments was accompanied by extreme fear and pessimism. Today, many indicators are once again flashing signals that historically appeared near major market lows. Investor sentiment remains deeply negative. Fear is widespread, confidence is weak, yet these conditions often emerge when opportunities are greatest rather than when risks are highest. That does not guarantee immediate price appreciation, nor does it eliminate volatility. Markets can remain irrational longer than many expect. However, the combination of technical indicators, negative sentiment, and increasing validation of Ripple's business strategy creates an interesting setup. The broader point is simple. Markets eventually recognize value even if they do not recognize it immediately. Over multiple cycles, I have watched investors ignore opportunities during periods of maximum fear, only to wish later that they had acted differently. Every cycle follows a similar pattern. When prices are low, people focus on risks. When prices are high, people focus on potential. Unfortunately, by the time the majority becomes optimistic, much of the opportunity has already passed. That is why conviction matters. Investors need to understand their own thesis and determine whether short-term fear changes the long-term outlook. If the long-term fundamentals remain intact, temporary market panic may ultimately prove insignificant. Take a moment to think back to previous crises. Consider the emotions people experienced during the pandemic crash. Consider the uncertainty surrounding Terra Luna and FTX. At the time, fear dominated the conversation. Yet many investors now look back at those periods as some of the best buying opportunities they ever encountered. Rarely do you hear someone say they are grateful they avoided buying during those moments. More often, people wish they had recognized the opportunity while it was still available. Right now, the market is once again experiencing uncertainty and fear. Yet personally, I believe the concerns surrounding the current environment are far less severe than many of the challenges investors faced during previous crises. Eventually, the market will move past this phase. Eventually, investors will reassess the value being created across the industry. Eventually, they will evaluate which strategies produced real results and which strategies failed to achieve their objectives. When that happens, there will likely be two groups of people. One group will consist of those who allowed fear and uncertainty to dictate their decisions. The other group will consist of those who remained focused on the bigger picture and recognize that temporary panic often creates extraordinary long-term opportunities. Only time will determine which group made the better choice, but history has a way of rewarding those who can maintain conviction when the crowd loses confidence. Well, guys, that's all we have for you today. What are your thoughts on XRP? Get involved and let us know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again in the next video. Goodbye.